I would like to bring you a short sci-fi story. Hope you enjoy.
The freezing wind howled across the desolate Arctic terrain, biting through layers of thermal gear as we trudged forward, each footfall sinking into the white abyss beneath. A training exercise we had been reminded 1,000 times, meant to prepare us for anything the world or our enemies could throw at us. But the frozen landscape felt unusually dead, devoid of the life signs one might expect to find in a place as harshly beautiful as this. I led the squad, eyes scanning every crevice and ridge, my heart pumping adrenaline, my instincts heightened. There was something tangible in the air, an electric tension that made the fine hairs on my neck stand straight. Perhaps it was simply the isolation that fueled my paranoia mixed with the excitement of being pushed to the limit. A pale sun hovered low on the horizon, painting the snow in hues of pink and gold with a deceptive warmth that was anything but real. Eyes up! As we navigated through a narrow ravine surrounded by towering ice cliffs, a shift caught my attention, a glint, silver against the raw canvas of snow. Curiosity wheedled its way into my mind, driving me closer. I raised a hand, signaling the team to halt as I approached the object, half buried and jagged, sharp like a tooth in a frozen mouth. "What the hell is that?" one of my comrades whispered with awe, his eyes wide, confidence suddenly tumbling like the frost-covered boulders at our feet. I knelt down, brushing snow away with gloved hands to reveal smooth, oddly shaped metallic surfaces. It pulsated gently, a low hum resonating from deep within it, like the heartbeat of an ancient beast. The squad gathered around as more snow fell, growing wary of the unnatural phenomenon before us. Then came a sound, a crack of ice, sharper than a shout, echoing through the valleys. I jerked up, adrenaline blasting through my veins like a hot flame. Our training kicked in, instincts screaming warnings. Our training was drilled into us. Never let your guard down. Before we could react, the ground rumbled beneath our feet. From the metallic object, a surge of energy arced out, illuminating the darkening sky, painting a picture of dread and inevitability as alien shapes began to emerge from the snow around us, figures cloaked in a furious frost, as if this terrible winter had birthed them from the depths of some icy hell. They were like nothing I'd ever seen. Tall, lean, and otherworldly, with skin that glistened like polished stone and eyes that glowed with an unyielding hunger. Their weapons, shimmering and technologically advanced, pointed towards us, demanding silence. "Fall back to formation," I yelled, throwing the command like a lifeline as chaos swelled around us. The squad instinctively moved, training kicking in as we directed our weapons at the intruders, fingers hovering over triggers, pulses racing. But the aliens surged forward, almost gliding rather than running, moving at unnatural speeds, their forms flickering in and out of view as they closed the distance with terrifying swiftness. Gunfire erupted. It was chaos, disoriented screams over the din of gunfire, the crackle of weapons exchanging lethal salvos. I fell into the rhythm of it, shooting, reloading, falling back, trying to push my team away from the encroaching tide. With every pull of the trigger, I felt the adrenaline flood through me, every round a desperate plea for survival. But our weaponry, no matter how advanced, felt like a child's toy against their hulking forms. They absorbed our blasts, returning fire with bursts of energy that splintered the ice around us, sending shards flying and knocking a teammate off his feet. "Get your ass up," I shouted, dragging him behind a block of ice as he struggled to regain his senses, his eyes wide with disbelief. "What the hell are they?" he gasped, fear gripping him like a vice. "I don't know," I yelled back, firing off another round as an alien charged straight at us, a vicious snarl transforming its alien features. I squeezed the trigger, and the creature disintegrated into a cloud of dark vapor. But for every one we took down, two more emerged matter-of-factly, as if we were battling a tidal wave of bodies. I felt the hopelessness claw at the back of my throat, that raw awareness of our impending doom. The objective of our training exercise had shifted from coordination and tactical maneuvers to survival against an annihilating force of incomprehensible origin. It was only a matter of time until they overwhelmed us. In the chaos, I caught a glimpse of something, another metal object shimmering beneath the snow. Hope flickered before me, a chance to not only survive but possibly turn the tide. I turned to the squad, adrenaline thrumming through my veins. "I'm going for that structure. Cover me." The others nodded, desperately firing at the advancing aliens. I sprinted through the maelstrom of gunfire, dodging blasts and frozen debris that exploded where I once stood. I reached the structure. A massive doorway awaited, nearly swallowed by the ice. There had to be a way to access it, something that would grant us an upper hand. I began rummaging through snow and debris, a faint hope fluttering in my chest. What could they have hidden beneath the surface? It was on the horizon, that last glimmer of hope, as I sensed something shift behind me. A line of aliens, relentless, advancing from the chaos. Their eyes locked on me with predatory glee. I turned just in time to see them converge, their intentions clear, weapons raised. The moment hung there, suspended in time, a twisted snarl on an alien face that ignited something primal within me. I threw myself towards the door, willing it to open as the world behind me descended into utter destruction. The fate of the mission and perhaps humanity itself lay just ahead, veiled in darkness, waiting to be uncovered. The moment my fingers brushed against the icy surface of the metallic structure, pulse of energy surged through my body like a lightning strike. The alien warriors, their predatory glee frozen in time, lunged forward with weapons raised. Their glowing eyes locked onto me like wolves descending upon wounded prey. Instinct overrode fear, and I slammed my fist against what I hoped was a control panel. The metal beneath my touch vibrated, a deep hum resonating through the ice like the awakening of something ancient. A blinding flash erupted from the doorway. A shockwave of force exploded outward, sending both friend and foe hurtling backward. I hit the frozen ground hard, the breath knocked from my lungs. My ears rang, my vision swam, but I forced myself upright, gripping my rifle with numb fingers. The alien creatures were momentarily disoriented, their flickering forms glitching, struggling to regain balance. Whatever I had activated had disrupted them, if only for a moment. "Inside! Now!" I roared, waving my squad toward the gaping entrance now yawning open before us, bathed in an eerie blue light. Without hesitation, my team scrambled forward, half carrying, half dragging the wounded as gunfire and energy blasts ricocheted off the icy walls. The creatures recovered quickly, their rage palpable as they surged toward us once more. I turned, my rifle barking rounds into the advancing horde, watching as several of them disintegrated into black vapor. But there were too many. The tide was unrelenting. A heavy clang echoed behind me as the last of my squad made it through. I threw myself past the threshold just as the doors sealed shut with a deafening slam, plunging us into darkness. For a moment, only the sound of our ragged breathing filled the void. The temperature was noticeably warmer inside, a stark contrast to the frigid battlefield we had just escaped. Emergency lights flickered to life, casting the cavernous interior in dim, flickering illumination. The architecture was unlike anything I had ever seen. Sleek, metallic walls etched with glowing symbols pulsed rhythmically, almost like the heartbeat of a living entity. "What the hell is this place?" Ramirez whispered, clutching his rifle as his eyes darted around the strange interior. I had no answer, but one thing was certain: this was not of human origin. A sudden groan of metal reverberated through the chamber. The walls trembled as if the structure itself was waking from a long slumber. I raised my rifle, scanning the room for threats, but my attention was drawn to the far end where a massive console sat, embedded into the wall. Its surface flickered with shifting symbols, streams of data flowing like a digital river. "Sir, look at this," Michaels called, pointing toward the center of the room. A holographic display erupted from the floor, casting an intricate map into the air. It showed the Arctic region, but with vast underground networks of tunnels and chambers that should not exist. More disturbing, however, were the markers, dozens of them pulsing in a rhythmic pattern, indicating movement, and they were closing in. "They're not done with us," I muttered, clenching my jaw. "We need to find a way to fight back." Ramirez examined the console, his fingers brushing over the symbols. This tech, it's light years ahead of anything we have. If we can figure out how to use it. A low growl cut him off. The sound wasn't human. Before I could react, the walls split open. Dark, sinewy tendrils slithered out like living shadows, coiling toward us with unnatural speed. One wrapped around Private Langley's leg, yanking him off his feet. He screamed as it dragged him toward the gaping void in the wall. "Hold on!" I sprinted forward, slashing at the tendril with my combat knife. Black ichor sprayed as it recoiled with an unearthly screech, releasing its grip just long enough for Langley to scramble free. The tendrils withdrew, but I knew they weren't gone. They were watching, waiting, testing us. Then, the console flared brighter, and a deep voice echoed through the chamber, not from speakers, but directly into our minds. "You are not meant to be here." A chill crawled down my spine. The voice was neither human nor alien, but something in between. Something ancient. "Who are you?" I demanded, aiming my rifle at the console as if it could somehow manifest into a threat. The symbols rearranged themselves, forming a pattern resembling an eye that seemed to stare straight into my soul. "This world was ours before you walked upon it, and now you have woken us from our slumber." I exchanged wary glances with my team. Whatever we had stumbled upon was far greater than a simple alien encounter. This was a hidden war one buried beneath ice and secrecy, waiting for fools like us to unearth it. Then, the ground shuddered violently. A deep, resonating boom reverberated through the complex. The map flickered, showing multiple breaches our pursuers had found another way in. "Positions!" I barked. "They're coming!" Weapons raised, my squad formed a defensive line. The doors at the far end of the chamber buckled under an immense force. The air grew heavy, charged with an unnatural energy. The enemy was here. The doors exploded inward. What came through was worse than before. The alien warriors had changed, their forms more grotesque, their bodies infused with dark energy that crackled like living lightning. They had adapted, and they were stronger. The battle erupted in a cacophony of gunfire, energy blasts, and the guttural roars of creatures not of this world. We fought with everything we had, but it felt like trying to hold back an ocean with bare hands. For every one we killed, more emerged from the shadows, relentless in their pursuit. Then, I saw the console's display shifting once more, revealing a final option. Activate defense protocol. It was a gamble, could save us or bury us alive. I didn't hesitate. I slammed my palm onto the panel. The entire chamber trembled as ancient. Mechanisms roared to life. Massive pillars emerged from the walls, crackling with stored energy. The aliens realized too late what was happening. A surge of raw power blasted outward, vaporizing them in an instant. Then silence. Smoke and dust swirled in the aftermath. My squad, battered but alive, stared at me with wide, exhausted eyes. What did we just do?" Michaels panted, lowering his rifle. I turned back to the console. The symbols had changed once more. A final message scrolled across the screen. "The war is not over. Prepare." And deep beneath our feet, something stirred.
If you liked this video, please think about subscribing.